So the knockout roses I trimmed back. The mums are starting to open up. Some yellow and some white. Hydrangeas are done for it for now till the spring. These roses are finishing up here. I trimmed them the other day. Bunch of kind of deadheaded them. Some zinnias are still here. This rose, if you could just smell it, it's a Memorial Day rose and it smells wonderful. And this zinnia. This was butternut squash in here, and I think I had around 10 of them. That was wonderful. Hopefully I don't have any back in the corners, because I did find a huge one back there where the vine had taken it to. These over here are pumpkins, and I don't think they're I planted them the first week in September, so I planted it too late. Then I have some Brussels sprouts, carrots, and pak choi, and this is one oh my gosh, what do you call it? A artichoke. And mind you, this thing grew a little bit, but wait till you see one in the backyard that was the same size, if not a little smaller, and how well that's done. So this gets more sun here. The one in the back doesn't get as much. Here's some pak choi. This has been really delicious in salads. This is my little invention for my grapevine. This grapevine is a purple Concord seeded, and this grapevine is going to be a white seedless. Now, standing back so you can see it, I put the little trellis up there, but I am going to let some of the vines go up the wooded tree and go wild, but then I'm going to train some on the chicken wire. I just put this stuff here because the edges were a little rough to keep it covered. This was my cherry tree. It didn't do as well this year. We had a frost right around Mother's Day, so I didn't really get as many cherries on it as I normally do. Then I have blueberry bushes, and they really look beautiful. When it comes time for fall, they just turn from green to a red. So just the bush itself is really nice. In here was some watermelon. I picked one, but I picked it too soon. I also have some spearmint growing in here, and that's really nice. This lantern is my best lantern I ever got. Every night it comes on, whereas I have another lantern up there, if you can see it, that green one. It's supposed to be solar, but it only lasts one night, and then that's it. It doesn't come back on after one night. This is a mulberry tree. This is some echinacea down in here. I'm not really sure what it's supposed to look like. First time I ever planted it, but it really isn't doing much. This is avocado. That just happened to grow up because the mulch that I put in here, there was a avocado seed, and it just grew up down in that little crack there. This was fennel. Lots of caterpillars on here. I'm not really that happy with it. I did eat one of the white bulbs of the fennel. I tried to keep the seeds and the pollen, but there were so many caterpillars on there that I just threw them outside in the mulch. It was just disgusting, really. These are some Brussels sprouts. I just thinned them from over there. These pea greens are delicious. Now I am going to get some peas on here because they're blooming, and I must have had a kale seed mixed in there because there's a kale. So if anything, this year at least I've learned what my kale looks like and what peas look like, because I really didn't plant too much of that. Last year was the first year for kale. But these greens, either in a stir fry or in a salad, are really, really delicious. This is more Brussels sprouts. I have 3 banana trees. This right next to it is some rhubarb. This is a fig tree, and I had a lot of figs this year, hundreds even. My apple tree, I still am waiting to get an apple, but I started it from a seed of an apple I ate, so I think it's been 5 years now. Here are some more blueberry bushes. Now this one actually came off of here when I was mowing. I must have bumped it, so this may be dead, I'm not sure, but for dead leaves they sure are looking good, so I might have planted it just in time. It did seem to have some root to it. So these are all blueberry bushes, and I really love them. Blueberries are delicious. This is my cayenne. I've harvested a lot of cayenne. This is another banana tree. This is some basil. This I covered up. This is where my asparagus bed is, and squirrels were in here so much I just decided to staple on some screen. These string beans, oh boy, they have been so delicious. I have so many in the freezer, and if I don't pick them like every 2 to 3 days, it really they're just amazing. I can't even say enough good about them. They are just delicious with some potatoes, and or right off the vine. This is where my garlic is, and it keeps trying to come up. I have it really covered with lots of peat, lots of grass clippings, black bags, cardboard, because again the squirrels are just going nuts. This is my little mulch pile. And this is some rosemary. This is what I cut the other day and brought some of it in the house. It smells just like Christmas. In here is more of the string beans. It's the other side of the trellis here. This is some thyme down in here. I've got a pineapple that's nice and green. It looks like it's got some slugs down in there. Oh, I even have a tomatillo that was growing in here. That's interesting. There's also some basil. So I had lots started in here. It looks like I need to really fill it more. I've got peat, and so when it's springtime, we'll see what's left on it, and I'll put a bag of peat moss in there. So this side really never got string beans to come up, but this side went crazy, and that's all I really needed was one side. So next year maybe I can put something over here to come up to offset the string beans. These are raspberries, and they just keep kind of dying out. This is a blackberry, and I hope to get some of those. This is a pear tree, and you need a pear tree to pollinate it. So I'm hoping, since it has several stalks at the bottom, maybe that'll pollinate itself that way. I'm just going to let them grow. More carrots. I love carrots. This is the artichoke, and it was the same size as the first artichoke that I showed you. Neither one of them did good at all in that metal can here. That's where the artichokes had started out. They stayed only about this big until I moved them, and I fed them coffee grounds and coffee, the liquid coffee. And this one, being that it has the shading of the grapevines in the morning and this big tree in the afternoon, it gets less sun. So I may move that other artichoke back here. These are peas, and again, these peas came up from peas that I had in the spring. I saved some seeds. So I'm still waiting for my one pecan. Like I said, it's like October, I don't know, 28th. So 2 more days, 3 more days, it'll be November. Hopefully next year I get about 50 pecans on here. This turned a lot greener when I fed it coffee. So when I feed it coffee, that really greens up the leaves. This is a wisteria, these three, and I had moved that. It's a beautiful butterfly bush. My tomatillas, they were so plentiful, but man, they just don't grow. And they just don't fill in these things very good. I don't know if there's a secret, if I need to fertilize more. Someone mentioned a fertilizer. I'll have to try that next year, but I had lots of them. And this one I can pick. But they just aren't very big. And I really need a good recipe. This is eggplant. I did get one eggplant off of there. This tomato came up all on its own. I'm not even sure what kind of tomato it is. It looks like a big tomato versus like cherry tomatoes. So I did have kale down in here. So I don't know, it's just like tripled in size. Then I had some lettuce, which this might be the lettuce, and it was a butter crunch that I planted. I had collards here. They seem to have gotten eaten by something like a worm or whatever. So this box has grown things into a huge size, but it hasn't really been bountiful, I guess you would say. So this is a white hydrangea that looks pinkish. I cut it all off and put it on the table because it's all died back. This is another butterfly bush that I probably should trim up. And this also, I don't know if it's the squirrels, the birds, or what, but tomato plants seem to be everywhere. There's more spearmint. These are my Concord grapes. So I did have a lot of grapes, but it was so high up and under, there was a huge canopy of leaves up there. And I really, when I would try and look for them, and I could have got my ladder and climbed up there, but the leaves get this little white bug on it, like a little gnat or something. And they just, I tried like covering them with sudsy water to get the gnats off, but I didn't bother going up there to harvest those grapes. I did harvest the grapes that were around here and around there. So I did get 1 quart of Concord grape jelly, but hopefully my grapevine that's down there by the dead dogwood tree does better and I can reach it, because these up here is just pretty much bird food and they've enjoyed it. Bluebirds, redbirds, all kinds of birds. More spearmint, some onion, chives, which I really need to cut that up and use it more. I never even pick from it, but I should. And I might do that so I can have some baked potato. I'll cut that up and then try and dry it for chives. More tomatillas. These were green peppers. They didn't do very well at all. And I had some 4 o'clock seeds and then some kale in there. That didn't do well at all. So this corner turns out to be a bust. It's too shady, I think. So again, this wild tomato plant, lots of blossoms on there. This was the white hydrangea that turned pink and then brown. Those are the 4 o'clock seeds. It did come up. This I'm really excited about because last winter, this was my avocado, and I have a lemon tree. So all 3 of them died back. Then this year, the avocado came back. This avocado came back, and this lemon tree came back. So, and the lemon tree has little spikes on it. So I'm hoping, and what I have on there, I feed that a lot of coffee. I really should have got it off the leaves probably, but yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen with this winter. I'm in Maryland, zone 7B, but I hope that if it does die back, it comes back in the spring 2021, just like it did this year, because that thing's too big for me to take in my basement. This is, I love this. This is what do they call it now? Lamb's ear. It's so soft. And I have those all around here, but I've trimmed everything back. This is some lavender. I don't know why I always want to call it heather, but it's lavender. And that is foxglove over there, and that's coming up. And foxglove was over here, and I threw some of the stalks over there, and it looks like it's coming up in the pot, so that's nice. This is ginger, and I really need to pull this up and see how the root's doing, and then repot it. Oh, and this looks like it's got a little lamb's ear in it too. So this is kind of just a wild space. I have some zinnias planted. I need to clean out the leaves for the birds so they can have water. But I just like whatever grows here grow. Oh, and here's a pepper. I didn't even see that. Huh. Not a big pepper, and it's got holes in it. And look, more lamb's ear. That's cute. So yeah, this is just a wild section. And another tomato plant. Oh my gosh, they're just crazy everywhere. Must be my squirrels because they're everywhere. So that's it. We'll see what the winter brings. I was thinking, one idea was to cover my PVC little trellis area there with some plastic and then put some pots in here. But I may just leave this where it is and put some like shower curtain around it. This gets sun, the concrete gets warm in the winter, and if I somehow string some shower curtain around it, maybe that'll keep it. That's it until next season, which will even be bigger and better because each year I've really added more stuff. The one thing I hope to do is get a composter because I don't like throwing stuff right there in a pile. And so that's on my to-do list, is to buy a composter. I'd rather have it up off the ground, but we'll see.